Eternity is forever. Are you preparing for it? So many people prepare for their funeral, what they're going to wear, what's going to happen at that moment, and then it's over. It's only for a very brief time. But how about eternity? That's forever and forever. It counts what you do here because that's going to affect what you do in eternity. I had an experience that transformed my life when I was standing on a football practice field many years ago, and I had a vision. I saw millions of people living for one thing after another, to get an education, to get a job, to get married, to have a family, to get a car, to get a house, to get furniture, to get more things, to go through their life, to get to the place of retirement, to get a house on the lake, to get a boat and die. And I heard the voice of God. At the end of it, it was like a flash. And I heard these words, nothing they have done will go into eternity. And I'll never forget standing there in full football gear, helmet on, and tears came in my eyes because I realized there were people that I knew in my hometown. And the millions of people that were there, they had lived all their lives for things they thought were important, that were special, and yet it had not been done for God. It had not been done for His honor and for His glory. And so at the end, it was over. It was gone. And in that moment, I heard the voice of God. You can make a decision to live for me, to go where I tell you to go and do what I tell you to do. It was stunning to me. I hadn't thought that way. It was just a revelation coming to me by the Spirit of God. And it wasn't like I wouldn't get an education. I did go on and get my bachelor's and master's and earned a doctorate. It wasn't like I wouldn't have a family. We had a family and wonderful 4 children, 2 grandchildren. Sharon and I have been blessed. It wasn't that we wouldn't have a house and wouldn't have a vehicle. God's provided those things. But it was that I would live my life for God. And I realized it wasn't just about being a preacher. It was about being someone that followed God, what anybody and everyone could do. If you will surrender your life to me, go where I tell you to go and do what I tell you to do. The Lord spoke to me. He said, you'll come to the end of your life. And these words, He said, as you go, you will touch people with my love. Now, it doesn't matter whether you're a mechanic, whether you manage a hotel, whether you're in business online or working at home. Any place in the world you can touch people with God's love. So it's important to understand these words God said are not just for you, as I prayed about them later. He said they're for others. And He told me, He said, you'll come to the end of your life and you won't look back on things that you've gained or money that you've earned or houses that you've had or cars. None of that's going to mean anything. He said, you'll look back on the people your life has touched and they will all go into eternity. That vision changed the course of my life. It altered everything when I realized what eternity was all about. It's about what we do on this earth for God and touching people with His love. You can make a decision. And that's what the Lord said to me. Tell this story to other people. And I remember telling it one time, and this older gentleman came up to me and he was in tears. And he said, I'm the guy you were talking about in that vision. I said, what do you mean? He said, I'm retired. I live on a lake and we're out there just waiting to die. And my whole life I spent living for things. You know, at that moment, he made a decision to give his life for God and spend the rest of his years helping people. They started a little prayer group in their home and bikers started coming. And they began to share Jesus with them. And in his latter years, he's touched many people. He and his wife, Arliss and Virginia Cole, they've touched people because they made a decision to live for God. And I'm telling you, it's never too late.